Okay, I want to start off by saying all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rukakudash. Translated, that means all praises to Yahweh, meaning He exists, being the name of God. Bahashim in the Hebrew tongue, meaning in the name. Yahweh Shai, meaning He delivers, which is the Son of God, the one the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Bahashim, Rukakudash, meaning in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honours to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, pushing this word in truth and sincerity, and blessings to the hopeful elect out there. So right now I'm going to talk about Mark of the Beast, Revelation 13, and going to keep it simple, show you what it is so you know what to look out for. So here we go, Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. 13 and 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Let's start again. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So who is he? He causeth all. Somebody who has the power to causeth all. So when you read this chapter, Revelation 13, pretty much talks about the beast from the sea. So if we start off with Revelation 13 and 1, this is John speaking. And I stood up upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. 13 and 2. And the beast which I saw like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. 13 and 3. And I saw one of his heads, as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So this is John. John had a vision, and when you break it down, as he goes here, and I stood up upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. So this is pretty much who's going to implement this mark. That's why it's Mark of the Beast. So this is what we're going to concentrate on for the minute. Who is this beast? Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go to this image here, which is basically put together by GMS. The beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. So this is what you're looking at. You know, you're living here 2021. You open up this book, this Bible, you read Revelation, and you're reading about the beast. You're worried about these end times. You're worried about this mark of the beast. So you're looking out for it. This is the beast. This is the beast. You know, there's people out there that don't understand this book. They don't have the spirit. They're reading it, and some people they're waiting for a literal beast to come out of the sea. You know, all these people with these different ideas, trying to work it out. I mean, this is what it is on a plate, literally. Can't get much more clearer than this. So the 7 heads, as we see at the top here, the 7 heads equals 7 governments or kingdoms ruled by Esau. So here we go, the 7 heads: Germania Major, Romans, the French, Spanish, Germania Minor, the British, and the Greeks. Okay, so when you go over here, I know it's not very clear, but I'll try and read it out for you. The 10 horns represent the common market, or the European Economic Community, EEC, established in 1958. Today, the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. Now, the original countries basically of the European Union were, as listed, Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, and West Germany. Obviously today that has grown, has increased in size. And down here we see NATO is an acronym for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was established August the 4th, 1949, and basically consists of Greece, Italy, Spain, France, West Germany, United Kingdom, Portugal, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Canada, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, I think that's Turkey, United States, Poland, Hungary and the Czech Rep. So these nations make up NATO, which is the beast. And basically the whore that rides the beast, that uses the beast for her purposes, jumps on and tries to control that beast to do what she wants, is America. The reason why America is known as a whore is basically because it's pretty much willing to jump into bed with anyone to make it happen, to make whatever she needs happen, which is pretty much what whores do. And the philosophies of all these kingdoms, you see, all these 7 governments ruled by Esau, they have these similar philosophies: democracy, religion, idolatry, homosexuality, lies, adultery, covetousness, and murder. So these are the things that you will find common in these previous kingdoms. And what it is, basically, these have all been brought together today from previous kingdoms, all these philosophies, to create this ultimate beast, which is what rules and governs the earth at the minute. You see, the reason why it's known as a beast is because a beast does not have compassion, which is what you notice when you go out there and you deal with this system. Wherever you go, you might have money, you might not, but at some point you would have seen some sort of some sort of hole in the system somewhere, and this is why it's a beast. It's only made to devour. It's not made to have compassion. So these philosophies, you got to look into them a little bit more. Democracy. Again, when you're voting for democracy, when you're kind of looking at these 2 different horns, which one shall I pick? They're pretty much coming off the same beast. So it's a bit like standing in front of a bull with 2 horns, and somebody says to you, well, which one would you rather get hit with? Well, what difference does it make? Because whichever one you get hit with is the same animal that's about to go straight through you. And that's what democracy is. This is why people always vote in and they're not happy, and it swings around. Different parties get voted in. And if you look at it, despite all these other parties that they have, it's pretty much only 2 in every country pretty much getting all the time. You're either red or you're blue. You're either Democrat or Liberal. And that's what it is, Conservative or Labour. It's pretty much these 2 horns. And all the other little ones that come in around it, they don't really do much to you. They don't really affect the system, to be honest. Religion is a big thing used by all these kingdoms, because obviously a variation in religion, all sprinkled with a bit of truth, mixed in with a bit of man-made tradition, ultimately takes you away from the Most High. And then when you lose touch with the Most High, then you look for a replacement, and that's what this government tries to do. They then come in to try to replace that, and that's why they come under the word government. Govern meaning to control, and meant obviously mentality. So that's what they're about. Idolatry is something that they will always use. They create idols for people to sort of look up to and worship. And this pretty much, with these idols, they can use these idols to then control people and control ideas and understanding of people. It's a form of control, end of the day. You can see the rest here. Homosexuality gets pushed a lot. There's a lot of lies. You're living in this system today. There's lies everywhere. Adultery. Don't forget, according to the Most High, once a man lays with a woman, she is his wife. So committing adultery is obviously, you're going to go and sleep with another woman, but if that woman slept with another man, according to the Most High, that's adultery. But down here, they tell you, no, don't worry about that. They tell you, go and play the field before you get married. So it's completely the opposite. They push it on a big scale. Give you Valentine's Day and all that kind of stuff. Just keep pushing it. And covetousness is something they push on a big scale. That again goes into idolatry. If you idolize somebody, then they give these people that they create as idols, they give them materialistic things. So then you covet them, don't you? You see these idols, you want to be like them, you covet what they got. And this is get rich or die trying, basically, mentality. Pretty much comes from this type of philosophy. And murder's a big thing. I don't have to tell you about that. Look at every one of these kingdoms here. They're all, none of them had any problem with taking people out in order to get what they want. And so what it is, going back to Revelation 13. So here you go. And I stood up upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So that's pretty much what's going on. That's the beast. And when it says here 13:2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, which goes into the Greek Empire. Alexander the Great, if you look him up, it's pretty much the first time Edomites had a kingdom, ran it on a big scale, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, which goes into the Medes, the Russians. Pretty much the last, they're going to be the last man standing, pretty much, out of this kingdom, this Edomite kingdom. All these Edomites you see, all the sections of power that they have here, there, everywhere. When it comes down to it, when it comes down to that final World War III, they're going to be the last man standing, pretty much, out of these Edomite people. And then they'll get taken out, obviously, by Yahushua, but they'll be last man standing for Edom. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which goes into Great Britain, because Great Britain has obviously spent a lot of years setting a standard across the world in many ways. Obviously, that Edomite standard, that Edomite thinking, and obviously out of Great Britain came America, which push it on a bigger scale. They're pretty much taken over from them. And the dragon gave him his power, which is the Roman Empire, and his seat and great authority. Because when you look into it, everything around here now, you're living here in 2021, they've got to give you all this technology and all this science and all this stuff, but basically, they got everything around you is Roman. They got Roman roads, Roman buildings. The stadiums are shaped like Roman colosseums. And a big thing about Rome is that obviously push taxes. They tax the people, which is a big thing going on now. That's how they make the money out of us. They pretty much enslave us by sending us to work so that they can take a section of tax money off of us. And then another thing is draconian law. And when you look into it, Rome pretty much had a draconian law, which kind of draconian meaning harsh, and that's what they're bringing in now. With everything that's been going on in the last year, with all this whole lockdown thing, I mean, they're pushing more towards the draconian side. It hasn't been like that for a while. They've kind of eased up. Things have been easy, but now you're seeing this beast is starting to show its teeth. As we get towards the end, it's really starting to show you its teeth. And obviously, as that happens, it's going to push the law towards a more draconian type, if you like. So this is what it is. Going back to this. This is the beast. This is the beast pushing. Who's going to push a mark? You're living in the end days. You want to know who the beast is. This is it. And you see, they have this thing called the barcode. And I'm sure you've all heard, obviously, the 666, the beginning, middle, and end. So this is what they're about. This is the beast that you're dealing with. You go out every morning, you wake up every morning, you go out your house, and you're dealing with this beast. This beast sets the working standards, sets the pay, sets everything, sets the structure of the road system out, and the travel system. They even set the type of lifestyle you're going to live in that. Everybody pretty much works towards that same thing of working. They want to go on their holidays, their 2-week holiday every year. They want to do this. They want to have that family. They want to get that house, and they want to follow that same particular pathway. And that's what it is. That pathway is actually control. And so this is the beast who operates the system, and this is where they get their system, how they pull it together from all these different ideas. Okay, so back to Revelation 13 and 13. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So this goes into the Roman Empire, basically, the wounded head, which was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So that goes into the Roman Empire, the downfall of the Roman Empire, and then obviously the revised Roman Empire, which is what we're living in now. His deadly wound was healed, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" So Revelation 13 and 14 talking about, and they worship the dragon, which is the Roman Empire, which gave power to the beast, which is the beast that is in control now. That's where they get their power from these ideas and these philosophies. And they worship the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" So this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to create something, which they have done, like a system which no man can compete against. Even if you get yourself a little army, you get yourself a couple of votes, you can't go against this system and change it. It's not really, you could become president of the United States. As soon as you get there, they won't allow you to do what you want to do. You do what they're telling you. They've got an agenda. They're saying, this is how we run it. You just tick the boxes and sign the paperwork and look good. I'll get you a couple of cars, get you a couple of flights here and there and all that. That's what it is. You get chauffeured around. So this is going into the beast. I mean, reason why it's important to know who the beast is because obviously the next prophecy due, the next prophetic event that is due to hit this earth in a big way is Mark of the Beast. So obviously, in order to understand what the Mark of the Beast is, first of all, you've got to understand what the beast is. And living in today's day and age, this is how to spot the beast. You've got to read through. You can read the whole of the chapter, and this is the beast that we're talking about. So you can read the rest of it yourself. And then we go back down here again. So back down to Revelation 13 and 16. So, and he causeth all. So this is going into the beast that we just looked at. Both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So this is going into all types of people. Small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Bond meaning in captivity or jail, if you like. So this is what it is. So somebody, the beast is he causeth all, literally everybody on earth. That pretty much covers everybody on earth, because you're either great or you're small, you're either rich or you're poor, you're either free or you're not. So and who's the beast that can control all those types of people? It's that beast that we just showed you. And this is what he does. He causeth all to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he had that mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right? So this beast is going to put something in people's hands, right hand or left hand. Is pretty much making out that it's in your hand. That's pretty much the point. I know it says right hand, but I don't think the hand's going to be important, because you could have it in your forehead. So this is what this beast is going to do. Is going to cause everybody to receive a mark. Now this word mark, when you look into it, let's have a look. So yeah, and the original word here is transliteration charagma, pronunciation ka-agma. So that's what the mark is charagma. And here we go, charagma, from the same as G5482, a scratch or etching, i.e. stamp, as a badge of servitude, or sculptured figure, statue, graven mark. So what that's going into, a scratch or etching, is basically a cutting into. And an incision, really, this is what it is an incision into the skin. This is what it really goes back to. So and he causeth all, both great and small, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, an incision, in their right hand or in their foreheads. So that's a cutting into your hand or your forehead. So cause you to receive a cutting into your hand or your forehead. That's pretty simple. Revelation 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. So when it says here, look, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. The number, here is his wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, which is 666. So don't forget, this man here, Esau, with his kingdoms and his philosophies, likes to push this barcode. So this is a form of his name and number. And but don't forget, this needs to be an incision in the skin, and we don't have barcodes stamped or cut into our flesh, so it's not quite a barcode, but it's going to be something that we will use to buy and sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now quickly, before we get any further, I want to sort of bring out this one. The reason for a mark: human branding. Human branding or stigmatizing is the process by which a mark, usually a symbol or ornamental pattern, is burned into the skin or a living person, with the intention that the resulting scar makes it permanent. This is performed using a hot or very cold branding iron. It therefore uses the physical techniques of livestock branding on a human, either with consent as a form of body modification or under coercion as a punishment, or to identify as enslaved, oppressed, or otherwise controlled person. So now we're getting somewhere. It may also be practiced as a rite of passage, e.g. within a tribe, or to signify membership of an acceptance into an organisation. Yeah, and as we read down a little bit further, look, historical use, and we know about this type of behaviour. It's been going on for many years. The origin may be the ancient treatment of a slave, often without legal rights, as livestock. So treating slaves as livestock. European American and other colonial slavers branded millions of slaves during the period of the Atlantic slave trade. Where have we heard that before? Sometimes there were several brandings, e.g. for the Portuguese crown and the consecutive private owners, an extra cross after baptism, as well as the African slave catchers. Ancient Romans marked runaway slaves with the letters FGV for fugitives. In modern Sudan, there are reports of branding slaves. An intermediate case between formal slavery and criminal law is when a convict is branded and legally reduced, with or without time limit, to a slave-like status, such as on the galleys in France, branded GAL or TF, Travail Forces, forced labour, until 1832, in a penal colony, or auction to a private owner. So I mean, you can look these type of things up yourself. I mean, this is just history about branding slaves. This is what has been going on for years, and you're living in this modern day society, and they want to do this. They want to brand everybody. Like I said before, we work for them. We pretty much go to work and then give a section of our wages to them for them to live fat. So we're pretty much the slaves. But what it is, you see, in the olden days, when you were a slave, it was just quite straightforward. They told you you're a slave, they round you up, they stick you in chains, and they brand you. But obviously, in this modern day society, they've changed things. They've made a system in which you seem, you walk around in the system and you feel like you're free, but really you're not free, because you can't go anywhere. You can't go and do this. You can't go on the road and drive on the road without paying taxes. You can't buy a house without paying taxes. You can't go anywhere without paying taxes. You can't buy anything without paying taxes. So you're pretty much stuck in this system. You think you're a free person, you're making choices, but your choices are narrowed down to what they give you. So we're already slaves to the system. They just need to brand us. That's what they're looking to do. The beast system wants to brand us. Now, and that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So this is what it is. This beast wants to put an incision into your skin to brand you, and without that, you won't be able to buy or sell. And with that, you're not going to be able to eat. So this is going to be a real problem. This is what's coming up. This is what we read about. Jacob's trouble. A time like never been seen before is coming soon. It's coming very soon, and it's going to be this is going to be the cause of it. There's already a lot of Edomites. I mean, really, they're pushing this out for Jake. It's going to put you in a situation where you're going to need it to buy and sell. So if you've got a business and you need to live off the income, how are you going to be able to sell unless you've got the mark? How, if you're just a normal guy with a job, how are you going to even go to the shop and buy bread and milk without the mark? So this is what's coming, a form of branding, and it's going to be difficult to escape. So let's move back over to here. So now you got to ask yourself this. It's 2021, and this is the beast. And the beast is going to put a mark into us to show that we're his slaves, and we're not going to be able to buy or sell without it. So what is the mark? What is it? Well, I'll put it to you simple. If you look around for the last 10, 15 years, What's the most common thing that's happened? You know, all the products that we have here, that we have at the minute, we have cars, we have telephones, we have washing machines, all these base things that we kind of look at as basic items, but they're all around us. And they were here years ago. But the most common, biggest change to all these things is that they're all going online. All of them now are pretty much online. You can get a dishwasher online and put it online. I've got a light switch, which is online, so I can switch it on and off when I'm not in the house. You can do that with your heating. Your car's online. I mean, everything you can think of, your mobile phone is now online. You can get anything online. Everything's going online. Things that don't even need to be online are going online. All your records are online. They're doing away with paper records. So all your forms, when your government forms are all online. Everything you're doing is online. You know, you do training at work. I'm doing training at work sometimes. They used to be face-to-face. Now they want to do it online. You see, what they've been doing over the last year or so is really hammering home that point to you. You know, they've been pushed it over the last 10, 15 years. Everything's going online, and people make jokes, oh yeah, everything's online nowadays. Well, guess what? They last year or so, that's what they've done to you. They've forced you to go online. So you're doing all your things online, you're working online, people are studying and going to school online. And what they're doing is they're pushing you to this mark of the beast. Now, the mark of the beast, don't forget, is going to be a form of marking slaves. And when you mark slaves, you want to know where they are. You want to track them down. So you need now a network in which to keep them in and keep an eye on them. So in this modern day society, you know, like I said before, you feel like you're free. You go out your house, you can go here, you go there, but you're not really free. There's a camera watching you everywhere. You're on the network. But they literally want to put you on the network. So they want to put you online. That's the ultimate goal. If you think about it, yeah, this is the way that everything's going. And for Yahushua to come back, the mark of the beast has got to happen. And it's got to be something that's just way beyond like just stupidity. Something that is a form of control, that is a point at which Yahushua says, no, do you know what? This is too much. I'm coming now. Obviously, you know, Yahweh gives him the day or the hour to come, but he's setting it all up. But obviously, you know, there's a point at which you can't go beyond, and this is going to be that point. You know, Esau wants to be like the Most High. He wants to control. He wants to do the big brother thing. And this is the pinnacle of his plan and ideas. This is what he's been pushing towards for years. So, you know, you got your cars online. You buy a brand new car now. My friend brought a brand new car. He took his missus curbed the wheels. So he jacked the car up. He took 2 wheels off so he could repaint them and put them back on the car. While he's got them painted in his garage, the manufacturer's ringing him from Germany, going basically, have you had a blowout? And he's like, no, I ain't had a blowout. And they go, oh, we noticed like the car's leaning and the tire pressure's like uneven, so we're thinking that you've basically slid off the road. This is Big Brother. He don't even want the car anymore. This is, you buy a new car, they know everywhere you're going. Everything. This is just a car. What about your phone? What, you know, you think about this, yeah? They gave you a bank card. Then they gave you the little touch and pay thing. Now they turned it into your Apple phone. Apple Pay phone or whatever. You go with your Apple phone, your thing, and you pay. They want to do away with all that and put that inside you. So once you get there, they know who you are. They know where you've been. They know what rate you're breathing at, and they know, yeah, you can pay for this thing. And then you're gone. And that's what they want to do. They want to put you online. Then you can roam around the park. You can roam around on the pavement and here and there and in between here and there and go wherever you want. You can go to the bar, go to the cinema, go to work, come home. They just want to know where you are. That's all they want to do. They just want to control you. So they might as well bang you online just like everything else is online. So you got all these people out here moaning about these 5G towers. Oh, they're giving me headaches. No, That's not what it is. The 5G towers is the network that's going to be fast enough to keep up with you. They're going to put you on the 5G network. So all they need to do now to do that, they need to take the same technology that they had in their credit card, which they then put into their iPhone, which they're then going to put in you. That same technology, once you're on it, you're on the 5G grid. Bingo. They got their thing going. They've got a 5G network that's fast enough to keep up with these humans that are driving everywhere and running everywhere and doing what they're doing. And they'll have track of you. Right? You can get into the argument of the details, but that's the basic idea. That's basically what it is. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at these forms of technology that they got in order to carry out these tasks. So don't forget, this is going to be something that you need to buy or sell with. And it's going to be given to everybody. It's going to be inserted into the skin. So, if you could imagine, like, the wherever it is in your Apple Pay phone, your Apple Pay, wherever it is, that little circuit, imagine that was inside your hand, then that would be doing the job. But obviously it's going to go deeper than that. It's not going to just be to buy or sell. Once they got you to buying and selling, they've got your credit card details, they pretty much got your home address. And then from there, they just got everything about you. And then obviously it's in your body. So it's going to have something to pick up on how you're feeling, whether you're breathing. So what we're going to do now, again, we're going to look into this technology and see what it is. So first of all, let's look into what's going to go in the hand, the chip that goes into a hand. Because don't forget to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So what could go into your hand for you to pay for stuff? So there you have it. That was a microchip which goes into the hand, can be used to buy and sell, and it's also a form of a mark, branding, a way for the powers that be, this particular power that be right in front of you, to mark everybody that is loyal to it. And this is what it is. See, don't forget, no man might buy or sell. Say he had the mark. So they're going to push this in a big way. If you can find a better version of something that goes in your hand, which is also used to buy and sell, and is also about today, in this modern day, while this current beast system is in power, then bring it out. They're the beast. They're in charge today in this modern time. This is their mark that they're going to use to put in you to buy and sell. So it's pretty plain. Like, you don't need like a PhD to work this out. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you the chip that goes into the brain. Because obviously, don't forget, it says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So what would go in your forehead? some sort of technology chip that will go in your forehead to allow you to buy and sell. Let's have a look.
In a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
Neuralink wants to connect our brains to computers, and now it's showed off a device reading a pig's brain signals in real time. But how does it work, and will it turn you into a cyborg? I'm going to break it all down for you. Elon Musk is at it again. This time he was unveiling a new brain-computer interface. It's called the Link, and he says that one day it could cure everything from paralysis to blindness. Now, I'm going to explain all of this to you using the Galaxy Brain meme. Just think, starting off basic, and then I'm going to blow your mind. So step one, the basics. Our brains are made up of billions of neurons, cells with long, spindly arms that send messages via electrical spikes. Those spikes in electricity travel between neurons in a chain reaction, sending messages to the parts of our brain that control speech or movement, for example. When you move your arm, that action started as an electrical spike up here, which leads us to the second part of the Galaxy Brain meme, how Neuralink plans to read those electric spikes. According to Neuralink, your brain cells are kind of like electrical wiring, and rather than just having neurons sending electrical signals, those signals could be sent and received by a chip. Elon Musk unveiled Neuralink's implantable brain chip, the Link version 0.9. It's a brain-computer interface designed to be implanted directly into the brain by a surgical robot. Same-day surgery without a big incision or general anesthesia.
You remove about a coin-sized piece of skull, and then you can just walk around right afterwards. It's pretty cool.
The chip plugs into your brain directly via tiny microscopic threads. They're about 1/20th of the width of a human hair, and they connect with the neurons in your brain to receive and send electrical signals. Importantly, Neuralink says these electrodes won't damage your brain.
If they're inserted very carefully, so that the robot actually images the brain and makes sure to avoid any veins or arteries so that the electrodes can be inserted with no noticeable damage. You sort of think like if you stab something with a wire, surely it will bleed, but actually at a really small scale, it does not.
Now, I can't believe I'm giving you specs on a brain chip, but here we go. It has an all-day battery life, wireless charging, and it's designed to wirelessly connect to your phone via Bluetooth with a range of 5 to 10 meters. And the whole thing, the chip, the surgery, the full cyborg experience, will start off expensive, but Musk says it'll hopefully eventually only cost a couple of $1,000s. He wants it to be about as expensive as laser eye surgery. Okay, so you're with me so far. I'm going to expand the brain meme. We're going to Sparkle Brain, and this is where it gets weird. Elon Musk did a demo and brought out 3 live pigs, one without a brain implant, one who'd had a link implanted and then had it removed without any issues, and a third pig named Gertrude that had had a chip in for 2 months. We got to see a live reading of the neurons in the pig's brain, firing in real time, specifically the neurons that were sending and receiving messages from her snout.
So what the beeps you're hearing are real-time signals from the Neuralink in Gertrude's head. So this Neuralink connects to neurons that are in her snout. So whenever she snuffles around and touches something with her snout, that sends out neural spikes, which are detected here.
We also saw the chip predicting the pig's movements based on brain activity. And we saw the electrodes firing and stimulating neurons and lighting up different brain regions. And that opens the door to some pretty game-changing applications for the Link, beyond creating some kind of pork-borg. Neuralink's head neurosurgeon, Matthew McDougall, said the first trials of the Link would be aimed at treating things like paraplegia. The company said it received FDA Breakthrough Device designation in July. Now, that's not the same as FDA approval, but it is a fast track to getting a medical device out in the field. But Neuralink doesn't want to stop there, and that is where we go full Galaxy Brain. There was talk of curing blindness by implanting the link in the visual cortex, treating mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, and addiction, connecting the link to a heads-up display so you could walk around like the Terminator. And then there were basic ideas like, I don't know, telepathy, replaying your own memories, superhuman vision, and the ability to see ultraviolet light. Oh, and connecting your brain and uploading it into a robot.
I mean, this is obviously sounding increasingly like a Black Mirror episode. Everything that's encoded in memory, you could upload. You could basically store your memories as a backup and restore the memories. And ultimately, you could potentially download them into a new body or into a robot body. The future is going to be weird.
A lot of these ideas are huge, but we didn't get any concrete timelines or really any idea of how they'd actually work. So while the link could be amazing for treating things like spinal injuries, don't expect to turn into the Terminator anytime soon. Still, it was amazing to see a brain working in real time.
Okay, so there you have it. The chip for the brain, the chip for the hand. And that's what you need to buy and sell. It's going to be the mark of the beast. So, I mean, what you got to do is simple. It's very easy to understand. You know, providing you're predestined to understand, because obviously not everybody is. But what you got to do, you got to look at a car. I know, like I've mentioned it before, but look at the car and compare how they deal with a car nowadays compared to how they're going to deal with us. Right? So let me throw you this thought. Right? So I had a problem the other day with a car and it wouldn't start. Turn the key, nothing. Engine cranks, but nothing, no fire. So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, there's no petrol getting to the engine. So the problem with the fuel pump, problem with the fuel filter. I don't know. So what do? I plug it in. When I plug it in, what does it say? It says problem with the airbag. Now I'm thinking to myself, airbag, what's that got to do with the car starting? So what it is, that airbag, the sensor on the airbag says, look, I'm not happy. Something's wrong over here. That sends a message to the computer. The computer says, you know what I'm going to do? That means one of two things. It means either I've got a fault with my airbag or I've had a crash. So then it says the computer decides, you know what I'm going to do? To be safe, I'm going to cut the power to the ignition. And that's what happened. So for that reason, there's no power on the ignition. You can't deliver petrol out of the petrol tank, which keeps that in there. So you reduce the risk of fire if you've crashed. Right? So this is how a ECU, you know, cars were always functioning before ECUs came. Combustion engine, exhaust. That's how they run. Now they've added that ECU on. It's to, you can call it a safety thing, right? To protect it. Now what it is, what you got to understand is you don't have to always plug a car in. Sometimes you can go to the workshop nowadays, they have Bluetooth devices, they have Bluetooth in the car. So what happens is you don't have to plug it in, you just drive there, and when you're within the range, they'll diagnose your problem and tell you this is what your fault is. And don't forget, once they do that, then there's a physical act that comes after that. You know, even if you want to upgrade the car, right? You'll plug it in, you'll read, this car was made at a factory with 200 brake horsepower. Then you're going to go, do you know what? I want 300. So you're going to adjust the computer. However you do it, you're going to make it think that you're set up to push out 300. So then what happens is the engine's capable, but the exhaust isn't, the brakes aren't. So then what you got to do, then you got to go and do the physical work, the adjustments on the car. You got to change the exhaust to cope. You got to change the brakes to make you stop. So see these comparisons. The reason why I'm going into this, you might think, what the hell? But basically, imagine this now. You're a human being. You have a chip inside you, right? Now, we all know there's a whole heap of people out there in this world with a whole heap of problems. And what Esau's wants to do, he wants you to have your chip inside you, and he wants to read what's going on inside you. So, I mean, we all know that, you know, when your body goes through a certain particular sensation, chemical reactions happen inside you. You know, if you feel burnt, a chemical reaction will happen inside you. If you feel angry, a chemical reaction will happen inside you. So Esau knows about these things. He watches TV. He knows. He knows like, when you do this, your pupils get dilated and da 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 and blah blah. He knows all that stuff. So, what he wants to do, he wants to put the chip in you to read what's going on, because your body's already built with these senses. It's already built with the brain and everything working. He just wants to read it all, and then with that, right? So imagine this now. So if you're an angry guy and you're known for getting in trouble with the police all the time, always fighting. Now you've got your mark of the beast. What's he going to do to you one day? He's going to say to you, come in for a service, right? Just like the car. He's going to say, come in for a service. And when you get there, he's going to have to do he's done the diagnostics, which is what the computer is for the car. He's done the diagnostics tool. He's looked at you from afar on the computer, and he's gone, this guy, he's got all these chemical reactions going on inside him. He's an angry man. And when we look at him on our CCTV, yeah, he's acting angry, he's fighting people. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to get him in for a service. They'll pull you in and they'll say, you need this injection. And what will these injections do? They will alter the chemical reactions within your body. I mean, this is not nothing. This is understanding is not nothing new. This is simple. This is logic. You can follow this, but you got to be able to piece it together. Why? What does he want to do? He wants to work us like he's working the car. He wants to plug you in, say, okay, you got this, you got that, you got that. Take this, take that, and walk away. And when you walk away, you'll be better at serving him. You'll be what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but you'll be better at serving him. You'll be more like what he wants you to be by servicing you. Because that's what happens when you service your car. You drive your car and you think this is rough, you don't like it, blah blah blah. You take it in for the service, you get all the bits clean, filters changed, boom boom boom. You come out, car's nice, smooth. This is what I bought, and that's what he wants to do. Esau, see, don't forget. You see, when you're born, and your birth certificate, you're already owned by Esau, so you're already his technically in the slave system. Okay, you're now due to go to work and give a section of your money to him for tax, but he wants to service you. Because some of you out there, you think you can do what you want. Some of you, you let the anger get to you and you think you can go cause a ruckus. And Esau don't want that sometimes. So what he wants to do, he wants to service you and stop you doing that. I'm just going into the anger. There's a whole heap of other stuff. There's some people that cry all the time, cry too much, always crying. So what about them people? Okay, come in for a service, we'll give you this, we'll inject you with this, or take this tablet, and you're going to cry less. Stop crying on the street everywhere all the time, every 5 minutes. So this is what it is. You can go into anything. You can fit this understanding to anything. Think of your own situation. And this is what it is. There's the buying and the selling, which this beast, this is the way he's going to, obviously what it is, he's going to use the luxury to get us. So we need luxuries, food being the most basic, and then obviously when you go upwards and upwards, there's all this whole bunch of other things. And what it is, that's why he's going to take that and use the chip against it. That's why the buying and selling comes in with that, because you're then forced to, because everybody's got to buy and sell, or buy at least. So what it is, at that point, you're kind of forced into it. But before I go into that a little bit more, and I know obviously now some of you are all thinking, okay, so what about what's been going on in the last year with the pestilence, the pandemic? So how does that fit into that? We'll go into that, but I just want to throw one more little bit of a thing at you. Before I get into that, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you something about the human body and about what goes on inside the human body. I mean, we have things going on inside of us. So obviously to understand what's been going on with the last year with the pestilence and all that kind of stuff, to understand, that jab, what's going on with this, why are they throwing this jab at us? And then a lot of you are saying, oh, well, this jab is the mark of the beast. Well, at the minute you can't buy or sell with it, so we'll wait to see. But I know you're wondering how that mixes in. So before we get into that, you've got to watch this next clip and understand this clip before I explain to you what's been going on in the last year and how it falls in line with the mark of the beast.
I want to now go to what I think this is what you're about to see. First of all, what you're about to see is going on in you right now, everywhere in you. We're going to let you look briefly at a cell made by the chemistry department at Harvard University, which was getting a little worried they wasn't getting chemistry majors. So they thought maybe they should do something jazzy. So they know that textbooks in chemistry, the chemistry always looks like circles and very boring. So they said, let's just actually make it like it is.
So this is basically what's going on in your cells right now. These are different fibers assembling, disassembling your cells.
This is
a molecular machine that walks around in your cells right now. It's called a kinesin and transports things. So for example, when things want to move around your cells, they don't just float around randomly. They actually
I like
actively
that.
moved around with little machines, little robots, nanobots that power your cells. What you see here is actually an amazing machine coming out of these little pores, which actually assembles other machines. This is like the factory floor of your cells. It's called a ribosome. It reads your RNA. RNA is, comes from the DNA, it's translated into RNA, and then it basically gets read out by these ribosomes, and they make new machines which then do other things. So there's all kinds of machines in your cells, things that rotate, things that walk, things that make other machines, things that read RNA, things that copy DNA, that open,
Let's look at this
shuffle
again
things
while
around.
we talk about it. Can we look at it a second time? First of all, how fast is this in real life? All these things going on.
Oh, some of those things can happen quite fast, some kind of slow. And that's actually the interesting thing of a nanoscale. You can create all kinds of time scales depending on how many pieces have to act together. Some things can
Well,
happen
that little guy
in
who's
nanoseconds, some in
Coulomb-
milliseconds, some in microseconds. They're actually, they make steps in the kind of millisecond range, I would say.
In the what?
Like milliseconds or thousandths of a second. And we a little
So
bit.
you can have this.
So it's actually faster than that. It's much faster than that. So they made it kind of looking.
So this is a garbage man. That big wet sack is just cell garbage, and he's going to take it up this tube, or it is going to take it up.
Yeah, there are some machines that walk from the inside of the cell to the outside of the cell to kick garbage out, and others that go from the outside of the cell to the inside cell to bring the good stuff in. So they're specialized machines. They only walk in certain directions.
Is this? What about the color? That's pretend, right?
Yeah, those things are so small you really can't.
Because it would
it's
be
just
very dark.
animations.
Unless you had stage lights or something. This is a copier.
Yeah, that's a copy, and that little wormy thing coming out is a new protein coming out, and here's a new protein has formed. Two of them linked together, and they make a new nanomachine that goes off to do its thing.
So this is This is what plants have and animals have, and we have. We're built from these things.
Right. This
and
is what's going on in your cells right now.
And so you look inside, and I think it would be fair to say that this seems extraordinarily complicated, extraordinarily sophisticated, extraordinarily, to use a careful word, miraculous.
So what you just seen there is a little clip showing you something called molecular machines. So these molecular machines are already inside your body. They've been put there by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai. You're born with them, and obviously, as they explained, they have a job to do. They work within the cell, working on the cell, working for the cell, and obviously we're made up of cells. So this is a natural thing. This is a natural occurrence. And basically, so with understanding that, what I'm now going to do is show you a man-made molecular machine. A man-made machine which can go into the body, into the cell, and do jobs of its own. Whichever jobs they are, programmed to do. So, these man-made molecular machines, i.e. nanobots, small robots. That's what I'm about to show you. Take a look at this.
That's the silver fiber. That's what's the COVID Q-tip. It's shiny, it's silver, and they're alive.
6% of Republicans, so 3 out of 4 disagree and say that the election in 2020
Do you see that, people?
was unfair.
Let's see.
Incredible what it is.
There you go. Do you see them silver particles? That's all this. That's this. Right here. They don't even want to let go. See, Stuck on. That's not cotton. This is cotton. This is the COVID. This is a regular Q-tip.
Still focusing on the political past and the election he lost.
See, the regular Q-tip, it's not shiny at all. It's white. Put it next to that. You see the difference in material? One's shiny, one's cotton. This is cotton.
Carol Lee is in Washington, D.C. And Carol, the president has just 15 days
Them
left.
are your nanoparticles.
Claims about voter
These are all the silver strings.
But he just keeps digging in deeper and deeper. Could you take us behind closed
You guys better leave them damn tests alone. That's what you better do. Because they're not doing chipping. Absolutely not. They're putting nanoparticles right into your head. I know this for a fact because this material, these fibers, these silver fibers right here, these come out of my body. They're called Morgellons. If you don't know what Morgellons are, go look at what Morgellons are. These are silver fibers. It's not cotton. This is what the COVID Q-tip test is. You see that one down there alive? They do their own thing. Look, he's trying to grab it. He's mad. See him? This is what they put in the head. This is their COVID test. They're putting this shit right in the brain.
He's trying to grab it.
Close to the brain. He's mad.
Look.
See him? He's getting mad. So you guys think I'm lying? I'm showing you live. Look at him getting mad.
We ain't even breathing on it, and it's fucking moving.
Oh, he got mad. You see him, Micah?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, they really are alive. Look at how they're fighting each
Look
other.
at this one. Look.
Oh, they got a link. Now let me see if I can pull them. This is the COVID test.
So it raises the question that you ask, and we don't
Oh, hell
It
no.
just wrapped
This
around
is
that other one.
wild. This is so wild, y'all. I can't believe y'all let these people put these Q-tips in your guys' head.
Biden's inauguration. No one really thinks that he could actually do that, or that the military would follow through with an order like that. But that doesn't mean that the president's not going to go through some machinations over the coming days and entertain some of these ideas, even after Congress has taken this step, which is seen by many around the president, including people who are closest to him, as pretty definitive. Allison.
Vice President Mike Pence is at the White House today. You are reporting, along with our White House team, that President Trump is leaning harder on Pence to flip the election results, which he does not
This is wild shit, you guys. See them fighting? They literally are fighting, trying to hold on and grab each other. But look, wait, let me put him down. And I'm going to come over here to the regular cotton.
The vice president feel that he's put in this basically
Post some of that for me, Micah.
that he has this duty as president of the Senate to oversee this process. He can't intervene in any way that influences
Nothing.
the outcome. And
There's
yet
proof.
over his shoulder is his boss, basically saying,
Regular cotton don't do a damn thing. It's not fighting. It's not moving. I'm putting it by. It's not doing absolutely nothing.
somehow do something
Nothing.
to overturn the results
Nothing.
of this election, which has been the president's primary goal for the last.
But these jokers right here,
The vice president has always been in this kind of position where he's walking a fine line of making sure he pleases his boss and not getting on Trump's the wrong side, but also trying to keep his own reputation intact while
Hold it
because he
above
has
this
his
one.
own future political
See, that one rose
ambitions,
up to my
namely
finger,
to run
watch.
for president in 2024.
Yeah, they get mad.
This is the ultimate test
it's
of
come out of my body. I have videos on my page. I have YouTube videos showing this shit. The same shit. This is nanoparticles, Morgellons. This is the COVID test. This is what the COVID test is. Look, he's still trying to come after me. He don't get on somewhere. Look, they're still. They're mad.
He's not necessarily going to just insert himself in the process in the way.
I know they don't like the light.
How that's going to go over with the president, though, is a whole other
That's your
question.
COVID test, y'all.
So that was a, if you like, presentation of nanobots, man-made nanobots, man-made version of a molecular machine. So, you know, a lot of people like want to argue that the mark of the beast is the jab. A lot of people want to say, obviously, it's the chip. I mean, all that remains to be seen. I mean, personally, I think it's the chip, because obviously you've got to be able to buy or sell. Don't forget that. But what I do want to try and get through to you is that. So I just showed you already previously that the car has a brain, a computer brain, an ECU, a chip, if you like, which reads messages sent from sensor, SENSOR, sensors spread around the car. That's how it operates, and then it functions and controls the car according to what the sensors are telling it. So the human body is pretty much the same type of thing. I mean, that's where they got the idea from the human body. So you have a brain, and the brain has sensors all over the body. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a picture of my hand. And this is a couple of years ago. I cut my hand basically while working, and an angle grinder gone straight through there, and basically lost that. Right, you're looking at it there. My left thumb there is limp, and so on the inside, the tendons which attach to it are cut, so I can't control it. And so what it is, you're probably wondering why I'm showing you this. What I'm trying to kind of get through to you is that when I was sitting there in the hospital, and obviously the doctor's kind of dealing with it, I mean, I had to have an operation. It's all fixed now. I've got opened it up, repaired it, whatnot, put it back together. But basically, at the time, I'm sitting there with the doctor, and I'm saying to him, obviously, I'm moving my muscle in my arm. My left thumb don't move. He's going, cool. And then I said to him, I can hear a ringing sound in my left ear, as if like someone's when the TV goes dead at night, like a high pitch. I don't know what, the radio going off at the end of the night or something like that. So what he explained to me, and I said, obviously, yeah, every couple of seconds, every now and again, every 30 seconds, every minute, I just get this shooting pain go straight up my arm. And he's basically, this is how he's broke it down to me. He basically said, look, you got sensors in all your body, in all the parts of your body. So these tendons and everything's all attached, and it all goes up to the brain. So he goes, so what happens is every 30, 40 seconds, however, I don't know, whatever it is, every now and again, your body, basically your brain, sends out a message to all its sensors all over the body. And it says, basically, is everything okay down there? So send, a message to this hand, to each finger, and say, is everything okay? And he goes, basically, your problem is that because you've cut everything going back, it's coming back as a no. Everything's not okay. So that's your shooting pain. And then he said your ringing sound is because obviously that's all electrical impulse. So there you have it. You cut yourself in the right way, and you will hear the electrical impulse for a short period of time in the back. And what it is, I know that nobody else could hear it because I could only hear it in my left ear. Couldn't hear it on the right. So obviously, not everybody, it's not in the room. The sound is not in the room. So, and that's what he told me. He said, you cut the line. You've cut the electrical line that basically sending impulses back and forth. That's electric. This is what we know about the body. It has these impulses. So pretty much the same as the car. Same sort of thing. So I'll take the picture away because it's not too nice to look at. So what it is, how does this tie in to nanobots? Because nanobots, right, this is what it is. This is what you need to understand. Nanobots can act as sensors. Okay, so once you infiltrate them into the body, tiny little robots with little jobs to do, they are now your sensors. And they can get into all parts of the body. Don't forget, these man-made nanobots are basically a copy of molecular machines. So that's what Esau has done. He's reverse engineered a molecular machine. So as well as acting as sensors, they will also be able to manipulate the cells and get into them. And who knows what Esau's programmed them to do. So with these with the combination of the two, you'll have something in your body which is reading messages back to this chip, which, obviously then this chip is being read by Esau from afar on a PC, on a computer. And the other job for these nanobots will be to adjust the body and allow it to accept foreign objects, because ultimately that's what this is, this mark of the beast. Whatever's being put inside, whatever they're going to try to put inside you, is basically a foreign body. Shouldn't really be there. So obviously, usually foreign bodies are rejected when put into the body. So and obviously infection is caused and whatnot. So this is something to adapt the body to allow that, to make it accept that. And also then once they're placed in the body, they'll be used as sensors to, send readings back to this chip. And obviously, it all goes from there, really. I mean, don't forget this chip is to buy and sell. So the main reason for the buying and the selling is obviously to get everybody into it. So that's what Esau wants to do. He's going to force the whole world to get into it. And what he's going to do is, well, what he's been doing, the last year or so, he's put everybody into this lockdown situation, and he's creating this this new scenario, this new way of life. And what he's doing is, as well as getting everybody used to being online, he's preparing everybody by removing luxury. So that's what he's been doing. He's taken away all the luxury things of life, if you like. The freedom to go out, freedom to go to bars, cafes, restaurants, clubs, anything really, anything you can think of. I mean, pretty much at the minute with this lockdown situation going on, you're allowed to go to work and you're allowed to go and get groceries, and that's about it. So that's your freedom being taken away. He's taken away, your freedom to go on holiday and all these types of things. And what he's going to do slowly is going to introduce it back in with control, with this mad control, with this ridiculous control. So he's going to say you can have these freedoms back, you can have these luxuries. That's what he's taken away, and he's going to say you can have it back, but you got to have this X, Y, and Z, and that is going to be a form of control. So you see what's going on now with the jab. So he's trying to get that into everybody. He's trying to get that into Jake first. I mean, when have you ever seen Israelites being offered anything first in this kingdom out of anything ever? Last hired, first fired. So all of a sudden this jab comes along. We're top of the list. It don't make sense. So you should don't trust your enemy, and you got to be wise. And just quickly here in the background, Order of Chaos. This is pretty much how Edomites run it. This is what you see. They create a problem, create the solution, and then just walk in and deal with it. Order of Chaos. And if we go over to Revelation 13 and 10, we can read about the relevance of the hour of temptation, which goes into the luxury. This is the luxury that they are going to remove and then offer back with this form of control. Revelation 13 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. So that's what's coming up now. That's what's coming up with this mark of the beast. When they're obviously building up to it, when it really kicks in, that's going to be known as the hour of temptation. And that's when we're going to see who's really awake, who's really with this truth, and who cannot resist the temptation of having their luxuries back. At what cost are you going to have these back? You're going to have it at the cost of having the mark of the beast. So Revelation 14 and 9 will explain what happens to those who take the mark of this beast. Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So it's pretty simple, pretty plain. This is what happens. You take that mark of the beast, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture, which basically means it's not diluted, into the cup of his indignation. Now, indignation is basically emotional anger. So you take a second, sit back and think about this. Emotional anger coming from Yahweh. So what's that gonna do? You can't get out of that. You can't be. That's just pain. Whether you're in the flesh world or in the spirit world, that is a problem. So you don't want that problem, basically. And you see, just to show you that Esau and the other nations, they know these scriptures. They understand it. They understand that only Israel can be saved, and that they will not be saved. And so this is how they go about their business. Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And we look up tumult. To murmur, growl, roar, cry aloud, mourn, rage, sound, make noise. Tumult. So you kind of get the idea from that. One more time, Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now this goes into Mark of the Beast, because obviously this is part of them wanting to cut us off from being a nation, because they know these scriptures, and they know about Yahweh's indignation that's coming for those that take the mark of the beast. So they know this is why they're offering it to Jacob first. This is why they want Jacob bang on this thing. They know that Yahweh's coming with wrath, with indignation, and he knows he's going to torment anybody that takes that mark of the beast. So knowing that he can't be saved, Esau himself, what's he trying to do? He's trying to take as many Israelites down with him as he can at the same time. And this is what it is. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now what I'm going to do, if after all that you're still thinking, this is a far-fetched story, what I'm going to do is show you a promotional video from the New World Order.
Charter City is stunned by the sudden rollout of Rook Unlimited's most fantastic device ever. The Smart Mark. Throw your other devices away, because the Smart Mark is more than just a phone. It's part of you. Use it as cash. Book your travel. And even shoot video. Distribution points are all over the city. And don't let the lines discourage you. The Rook Unlimited Smart Mark is worth the wait.
I never realized how wonderful technology could make me feel. The Smart Mark has brought order to my life.
And the best part? It's absolutely free. A gift of thanks to our city from Rook Unlimited.
23% of the population has been given the smart mark, number 1.
Time to test our system, number 6. The Flex Fighters are out there somewhere. Teaming up with Jonathan Rook. Let's put our new recruits to work, subtly.
We should find the Flex Fighters.
I ought to find the Flex Fighters.
We should find the Flex Fighters. We should find the Flex Fighters.
Growing up in this city, the streets of Old Town, I saw the worst mankind had to offer. Chaos, disorder. I vowed to make it all change. To make it all better. All these years working in secret. Rising up the ranks of the tech men. It was all leading to this day. Order has finally been established in Charter City. No child will have to fear for their safety again.
The people owe you the greatest of debts, number 1. For liberating them from the chaos of their lives.
You guys love new tech. You didn't want to get smart marked?
No way. That's clearly some shady biz. Who wants to be...
You call yourself a man of science. World order is our destiny. Submit to a smart mark and join the glorious victory of order over chaos, or you will be eliminated.
Grandpa, Mr. Savick, where is everybody?
They all went to get those foolish new devices.
What? No, they can't. Grandpa, those things are dangerous. It's a conspiracy. Mind control.
I knew it!
3 hours is enough time for us to get to our families. Maybe we can stop them before they get marked.
They seem to be establishing checkpoints of some kind. This is how they keep order.
This is the nightmare I warned you about. People think smart marks are brand new Rook tech that will improve their lives. They don't know they're being tricked.
All smart marks so far. But your chip makes it possible to control everyone in Charter City, whether they're marked or not.